Yo. What's going on, man? Today is January the 27th. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show. Bunch of games on the board for today. I went through some of them last night. At the end of this video, I'll link in the video description a link for a couple of the games that I went through last night, because I'm not going to go through a bunch of those games tonight on today's show, I should say. And I'm just looking at it because there's so many games for today. I actually think I skipped one. So we'll see if I can see after Memphis and New York. We'll see if I can see if we can live cap a few of the games. I did not go through every single game in complete detail, but we'll see if we can jump into it. I'm just looking at it. I wasn't really interested in it, but the Pelicans and the Toronto Raptors game is a game that I didn't even look into. I'm just looking at it right now. Did not look into Pelicans and Raptors at all. It's a really, really big slate tonight. So as I was mentioning, the games that I talked about yesterday in last night's video, if you're interested in those games that are not talked about on this show, you can always go back and watch the video from last night. I did make 4 official plays already. Those plays are all shared in last night's video. Also sent them out to the members already as well. Let's get into a quick recap. And then I'm just trying to make a graphic real quick. Looks like it's coming down to a pick between these two teams, and the total is at 232.5, which is on the move up. All right. Anyway, let's get into a quick recap of yesterday. 0-3 day for myself yesterday. I talked about this on last night's video as well. Jalen Hurts, the flow of the game, the way that the Commanders and Eagles game went. Austin Eckler kind of had a chance, but Philly was really locked in defensively to making sure Austin Eckler didn't get a bunch of yards after he caught the football. Philly did a great job of keeping everything in front of him. So he did not finish with 25 receiving yards. I think he had 17, and that was on 5 catches too. So I like the odds. I bet that every single time. Jalen Hurts didn't stay under his pass attempts because the Commanders just kept turning the ball over. So the Eagles possessed the ball for a large part of the game, and Commanders couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. And then Portland team total under yesterday. When I went back and looked at it, because I was handicapping today's game while this game was going on, really it was the 3-point shooting. I'm not sure how many times the Portland Trailblazers have shot that well from the 3-point line. They shot 45%. I want to say that they hit like 17 threes last night. Portland, Kamara hit 5 threes. That's not something that you typically see. Even with all that said, they only got to 108. So this total went over at 41 seconds. I did go back and watch it. So a rough 0-3 day overall. 0-3 day overall. Need to get it back after having a winning day on Saturday. Go through a couple quick comments and then we'll get into it for today. What up, Bitsy? Says top of the morning, Chris and ChrisBeCappinn Community. It's Money Making Mondays. Good morning, Peasy. Jamel says less cash, my guy. Appreciate you for tapping in, Jamel. What up, Sheet? GLB in here as always. Young Man Travel says, yo, what's good, Chris and fam? Decent slate today. Let's cash. Mark never sleeps. He's just like me. Good morning, Mark. Good morning, Christian. Morning, Jack. Justin in here as always. Good morning, Tasha. She says, Philly NFC champs. I don't want to talk about it, Tasha. Let's not do that, man. What up, though, Will? Appreciate you for tapping in. And good morning to Pete as well. Hell of a season for my Commanders, man. Nothing to hang our heads on. I honestly hate losing bets, but I've cashed Jalen Hurts under and Austin Eckler over so many times this season that it didn't feel too bad. I just hate losing in general, though. Bets and watching my team lose. But we had a really good run this year. We did. Let's jump into it for today, man. Real quick, I got to go back and talk about what jaXon is liking for today. So let's do just that. All right. So jaXon is your AI sports betting buddy. If you are interested, check out the link in the description of the video. You can save yourself 50% off. You can handicap player props, total size, NBA, NFL, you name it. You just type the prompt in and jaXon will spit out some updated data for you to save you a ton of time. So the prompt for today was, I was interested to know the Bucks versus Jazz, the total in that game, because it's a little high in my opinion. It opened 233.5, is up to 236.5. That's one of the last games on the board for today. jaXon tells me, first, it always makes me a nice little chart, key stats and analysis. It has Points per game last 10 games, which the Bucks are averaging 121. The Jazz only averaging 110. Points allowed per game, the Bucks are allowing 110. The Jazz are allowing 118. And then the average combined total, 231 for the Bucks and 229 for the Jazz. So recent form, 8-2 for the Bucks, 2-8 for the Jazz. And then it has some recent game totals. It said the Bucks and Jazz have averaged a combined 232 points per game in their recent matchups, which is 4.5 points higher than the 236.5 line. This suggests the under has value. You got defensive and offensive trends. The Bucks are allowing 110.7 points per game, while the Jazz are scoring 110.7 points per game. The Jazz offensive struggles combined with the Bucks' solid defense could keep the total under this line. The Bucks offense has been strong, averaging 121.1 points per game over their last 10, but the Jazz defensive issues allow 118.5 per game might not be enough to push this over the total. Then you got recent matchup history in the last meeting. The Bucks defeated the Jazz 123-100, totaling 223 points, which is below tonight's total of 236.5. Sharp line projections. Sharp line leans towards the under 236, offering at -110 over on FanDuel. Implied odds suggest 50% chance of hitting. So their recommendation, under 236.5. The Jazz's offensive struggles combined with the Bucks' strong defense and recent matchup history suggest this game is more likely to stay under the total. Additionally, an average combined total for both teams align with this pick as well. So jaXon likes under between the Jazz and the Bucks. Think the total is a tad bit too high. jaXon did go 1-0 yesterday. The play was on was probably what I should have played. The Portland Trailblazers did cover their 13.5 point spread yesterday. So jaXon went 1-0 yesterday. They won the game by the Oklahoma City Thunder won the game by 1. So that's what jaXon got. As I mentioned, about 6 games I went through yesterday. I'm not going through all of those games. I do have limited time this morning. So Lakers and Charlotte was one of the games that I talked about yesterday. Not doing a deep dive into this game today, but let's just give you guys some updated thoughts as I was kind of looking through some things last night. So injury report here, LeBron and AD are projected to play. Rudy Hachimura is listed as questionable. If he does not play, I think that means a little bit more minutes for Jerry Vanderbilt. Jerry Vanderbilt came back in that game against Golden State, had a really big impact, specifically on the defensive end. We know he can go out there, and he's probably still one of the top 20 defenders in the NBA. Like, this dude really locks up. And that could be LaMelo today. That could be Bridges today. But the Charlotte Hornets only have about 2 scorers, in my opinion. I mean, it's just really just them two and Mark Williams. The thing that you worry about is how serious do the Lakers take this game? They won 3 in a row. They won 8 of their last 10. They won the earlier matchup as well. But they don't cover it on the road as a favorite, especially in non-conference games. It's also the first leg of a back-to-back. They got the Sixers tomorrow. First game on the East Coast. Second of a 5-game road trip. They won, like I said, won 3 in a row, covered all 3. But when I look into it, because Charlotte's been good as well. Charlotte's 6-3-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. They haven't had to travel. 3rd straight home game for them. They don't play again until Wednesday. And they're coming off a 31-point win against the New Orleans Pelicans. When I look at the Lakers, they're 1-4 straight up and against the spread when they're playing on the road in non-conference games. The only win actually came against the Toronto Raptors earlier this season. They were laying 9 to the Cavs and end up winning the game by 6. They also got road losses to the Cavs, to the Pistons, to the Heat, and to the Hawks in this spot. The Lakers are also just 3-8 against the spread when they're traveling from road to road. So if their last game has been on the road, the next game is in their present game is on the road, only 3-8 against the spread. I like Charlotte plus the points here. I do think the thing I wanted to add is what did I want to add? Oh, I know what I wanted to add. You really just got to check the injury report. I was reading about this game a little bit more last night after I handicapped it. And you really just got to check the injury report. I do think Charlotte can keep it within the number. The other thing I wanted to mention just really quickly, and I want to go over to the TheMoneyBaller very quickly, TheMoneyBaller, and show you guys another way that I was looking at this game. So first off, you know what? Let's not go to TheMoneyBaller. Let's go to Give Me the Dog real quick. I shared this in the Discord last night. I think this is a trend that I'm not really wanting to buck here. And we're just going to look at the team equals Hornets. We're going to look at the Hornets this season. We're going to look at them as a home dog. We're going to just say that they're getting 5.5 points or more. So line is greater than or equal to 5.5. So they've been a dog of 5.5 points or more this season. You can see right here, they're 9-0 to the under. The games are staying under by about 14 points per game. So this is when the Hornets have been a home dog. Now, granted, some of these games might not have had Melo, but they're averaging 210 points here. Every single game, you can see in this over-under column here, has gone under the total. So this is a trend that I'm not willing to buck and take the over here. I think you just kind of wait, see what happens with the injury report. Does LaMelo play? Mark Williams also missed the last game. He should return in this game. So that's what I wanted to show you guys. And it also aligns with, real quick, if we go to the MoneyBaller. So let's see, MoneyBaller. Let's go Charlotte and Lakers. Let this populate for a second. There is a 50% discount code for MoneyBaller if anybody's interested. You can see situational notes for the Lakers, first leg of back-to-back. I talked about that. They play Philly tomorrow. For the Hornets, third game in 4 nights, fourth game in 6 nights. So maybe their offense isn't as great. And they're coming off a win as a dog, so potential letdown spot here. So if I scroll all the way down and I'm looking at trends, right, the one that sticks out to me the most is Charlotte right here. 16-4-1 to the first half under if they're a home dog. Typically a spot where they play a little bit of defense, specifically early in the game. As a home dog, like I said, as a home dog of 5 or more than 9-0 to the under as well. Those games are staying under, like I said, just showed you guys, by 14 points. Don't trust the Lakers as road favorites. That's just something that I'm not willing to do. You can see that they are 4-4 against the spread as a road favorite. But like I said, if they're playing a road favorite in a non-conference game, they have not done well at all. So I'm not looking towards the Lakers. I would be taking the points with the Hornets if everybody is actually in on this game. So those are my quick thoughts there. I'll go through just a couple comments because there is, in my opinion, better spots on the board. But just trying to give a little bit of an update here. Let's see what we're thinking about this one. What up, Christian? I think I said good morning to you already, but what up again, Christian? Good morning, Nayeli. She says, good morning, guys. Cashed in the NFL on the overs and money line for both games. Like it. Christian says, you know I'm going to be fine. Walker Kessler bet to smash. Okay. What up, J-Man? Mark Williams over his boys for Christian. Tasha says she likes over. Charlotte last 5 games have gone over. And I think that could be the setup. I think that could be the setup, man. Last time I took an over with Charlotte, they couldn't score to save their lives. J-Man says Hornets 4-2 ATS at home versus the West, 0-6 to the under. Yeah. Smokey Steam says I'm probably going to be on the Hornets today. They're quietly playing well, and I agree with that as well. Real quick, one more thing, because it don't look like it's a lot of thoughts on this game. Mark says MoneyBaller likes the over in the Bucks game. I'm not playing, just sharing. Okay. So real quick, player prop. I want to go over to Outlier real quick. I'm already spending way too much time on this game, but I want to share a look that I was looking at with you guys here. So I'm looking at, and then we'll get over to the next game. So I'm looking at Bridges. I'm looking at Miles Bridges here. Couple things that jump out to me here. So I'm looking at his points plus assists. You can see the line. Hold on, let me readjust it. So you can see this is Miles Bridges. This is Outlier, 7-day free trial link in the description if you guys are interested in checking out Outlier. Just a really cool handicapping tool that'll bring you some visuals to whatever it is that you're looking for from a player prop perspective. So I'm looking at Miles Bridges. You can see that he's in excellent form. This is his last 10 games. He's gone up and over his points plus assist line in 9 of his last 10 games. So he's averaging, let's see, right about 25. You can see that right here, 25.4 is what he's averaging between his points and assists. The Lakers also allow their bottom 10 in assists allowed. I want to say bottom 5 in assists allowed this season. The other thing I thought was interesting is if you just of course he's in recent, you want him to be in good form if you're taking him. But if you look at the full season, he's also 61% as well. It feels like to me the books haven't quite caught on to Brandon Miller being out. So he's had more usage. He's the second best offensive player on the team behind LaMelo without Brandon Miller being there. So I went in and I just looked at games without Brandon Miller. You can take him out. Of course, he's not going to be there. And you can see that Bridges has played in 14 games without Brandon Miller this season. He's cashed the over 64% in every single game since he's left. He's actually cashed. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 for his last 8 is Miles Bridges up and over his points plus assists. LaMelo is probably going to be a really strong play today. My thoughts on LaMelo, I don't really like it as much. He's continued to go under on his points prop. Now, the Lakers are not the greatest defensive team. We know that. But LaMelo has not gone over on his points prop, which I know a lot of people probably going to like. If you look at LaMelo and you want to take his over 27.5, you can see that, I mean, it's a lot of red there. That's 6 straight games he's actually stayed under the number. A large part is he's shooting the ball so poorly. 31% from the three-point line, 41% from the field over his last 10 games. Last 5 games, I feel like have actually been worse. We know that the Lakers are, projecting to actually play defense a little bit. They could struggle against guards, but LaMelo, like I said, 41% in last 5 games, only 30% from the three-point line over his last 5 games as well. So he's getting them up. He's just not making them. You can see his three-point prop has actually been going under as well. He's looked like he's hit 2 of the last 5. So went way too long on this game because there's other games that I want to dig into, but that is money. That is Outlier. So check it out if you guys are interested, and then we'll jump back into it for today. Let's see. What up, G Loco? He says likes Mark Williams, points plus rebounds. Got to take bigs versus the Lakers. G Loco likes it. Over 23.5, over 22.5 points plus assist. Natalie likes the Hornets. I lean Hornets as well. That's the only way I'm looking in this game. What up, Reen? And Flint says, just got to the gym. I'll be right with y'all. Yeah, I got my workout in earlier. Let's go to Detroit and Cleveland. This is an interesting game here, in my opinion. Line opened at 10, hasn't moved at all. Total has gone up from 232.5 to 235. This is going to be a very, very interesting game. So I'm looking into the game. We'll start with the injury report first and foremost. We got Tobias Harris listed as game time decision. He is questionable. I think it's a head injury that he sustained against the Orlando Magic in the last game. Not sure if he's going to play. If he doesn't play, there's a player prop that I like if Tobias Harris doesn't play. Maybe even if he does play. And then Jaden Ivey, of course, is out. On the Cleveland side, Isaac Okoro is out. Dean Wade is out. Aaron Karis-LeVert are all out in this game. I'm looking at this Cavs team, and they've really been struggling recently. They have dominated the Detroit Pistons, though. Don't get it twisted. They've won 10 straight games. They won and covered earlier this season. The first time that they played 113-101 in Cleveland as a 10.5 point favorite. That game did go under a 224.5 total. I'm thinking that I really wanted to get there with over. I'm thinking this total might be a little bit too high, though. You look at this Detroit team. This is the 4th game of a 5-game road trip. They beat Houston. They beat Atlanta. And then they ended up losing in Orlando on Saturday, I think it was. And they play the Pacers on Wednesday. You look at the Cavs, this is the first 3-game losing streak of the season for them. 3 straight non-covers. Somebody called it out the other day. They were like, man, like, we got to stop calling. I forgot. I think it might have been God's gift in the chat. He was like, Cleveland, the best team in the league. Not right now. Cleveland has looked really bad, man. Like I said, first 3-game losing streak of the season, 3 straight non-covers, 2nd straight home game for them. They play in Miami on Wednesday. Defensively, they just gave up 135 to the Houston Rockets. They gave up 132 to the Philadelphia 76ers. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 games. It feels like, and I put this in the Discord last night, Cleveland's going to be a little bit locked in on the defensive end in this game. I wanted to get there with first half over. I think that the first half over could still cash, and then the game could slow down in the second half. So I'm not off of it. That was actually the thing that I was looking at the most. I'm looking at Detroit offensively. They haven't even really been that good. Detroit, it's been their defense. Offensively, last 5 games, they're the eighth. They're eighth in last 5 games for Detroit. Offensively, they're 8th. Defensively, they're 8th. My fault. Struggling over here. Last 5 games, they're 8th, and let me just double check this because now my notes not matching up. All right, yeah, I was right. Okay, so last 5 games for Detroit, they are the 6th worst offensive rated team, averaging about 108.5 points per 100 possessions. 23rd in effective field goal percentage. It's been their defense. Their 6th rated defensive team over the last 5 games. 3rd in opponent effective field goal percentage, and their 7th in opponent offensive rebound rate. So Detroit's been winning with their defense more than their offense. When you look at Cleveland defensively, they've really struggled. This is the 2nd worst defense over the last 5 games, giving up 126 points per 100 possessions. They're also giving up the 4th most offensive rebounds. Opponents have been killing them from the 3-point line. It's been their defense that's really, really struggled. Their opponents are shooting 45.5% from the 3-point line last 5 games. Now, Detroit is not a good 3-point shooting team. Last 5 games, the 27th in frequency, 24th in accuracy, only shooting about 33%. I'm expecting Cleveland to come in here and kind of tighten up their defense a little bit. I do think it's a little bit of a bounce back spot for them. Now, Cleveland, Detroit, I don't want to fade, especially getting 10 points on the road. Their role is a road dog. We know that they've been very profitable as road dogs this season. And real quick, if we were just to put some numbers with that, I'm just remembering this off the top of my head, but Detroit has been super profitable as a road dog, so it doesn't really make me want to run to the window to try to fade them. I do think this could be a tad bit too many points, given the injuries that the Cleveland Cavaliers has. Detroit is 12-6 against the spread, so they're covering 67% of the time as a road dog this season. The Cavs started off really hot as a home favorite, but then they're still 15-9 against the spread, 62%. So you got some conflicting stuff here. Enough for me to kind of stay on the sideline. I'll go over to MoneyBaller and show you guys what I was looking at in the first half with the over. I think that the first half over could cash and then the game could still stay under. We talked about this a while ago. Detroit is the best fourth quarter defense, and I think Cleveland is going to hang their hats on the defensive end as well. So if we go back to MoneyBaller really quickly, we look at Detroit versus Cleveland. So you got some seasonal notes here. In-season revenge for the Pistons, double-digit in-season revenge as well. The Cavs coming off a loss as a favorite, bounce back spot. 3rd and 4 nights for the Cavs, 4th and 6th nights for the Cavs. We know that Evan Mobley did not play in all of those games. So, and then baller systems on the over as well, based on recent totals. Over system based on previous matchup scoring. So think that this one goes up and over the total, and that's what I would hope as well. I just listened to the post-practice interviews in Cleveland. Like I said, it seems like they're going to be locked in defensively. So what I had in my notes here, you look at these overs, right? You got a Detroit team that's 13-5-1 to the over as a road dog. I love to see that in the first half specifically. And then you got a Cleveland team that's 13-10-1 to the over as a home favorite as well. You can see that for the Cavs, for the Pistons, the over drops though. For the full game, only 11-8 to the over. But for the first half, much more profitable. That means, their defense picks up, and same thing for their opponent as well. The Cavs are 15-9 to the over for the full game as well. So conflicting stuff here. This total is a tad bit too high for me to want to get involved now. Open, like I said, at 232. I really want to get there with a first half over. And the number wasn't even available when I was handicapping this game last night. Let's see what the first half total is right now. That would be my recommendation for this game. I do think the Cavs can win by double digits. I don't want to lay such a big number with them being shorthanded. But I do think off 3 straight losses, you probably don't want to fade this team. Probably don't want to fade the Cavs, in my opinion, even though Detroit is playing good ball right now. So first half over is, I can get a 109.5. Yeah, it looks like 109.5 is consensus. That would be my recommendation here is Cleveland. I'm going to actually add it to the short list because, like I said, it wasn't available last night. Over 109.5 would be my recommendation here. Let's see. Detroit, Cleveland, first half over 109.5. You really just need both teams to get to about 55 points. And I can see that. I think it's going to be played with pace. Both of these teams playing with some pretty good pace over the last 5 games. Cleveland actually playing slower, 20th in pace over the last 5 games. Detroit pacing teams up, though. They are 3rd in pace over their last 5 games. So Cleveland also at home 6th in pace as well. So I think first half over would be my recommendation here. And then real quick, player prop wise, not going back to it right now. But you know what? I will. I'll go back to it really quickly. Just go back to Outlier really quickly. I'm looking at a Sir Thompson in this game. I think so. A Sir will start for Tobias Harris as Tobias Harris is not able to play. We'll see if Tobias Harris actually plays in this game or not. But you can see the news down here at the bottom. Tobias Harris exited the game on Thursday. In the loss to the Magic, it didn't return. The forward isn't yet in concussion protocol, as he appeared to be on the official injury report with the designation of post-traumatic headache. If Harris isn't cleared to play, Malik Beasley could move into the starting lineup, play along the wing with Tim Hardaway Jr. and Sir Thompson. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he could get some extra minutes. He might even start. And I was reading about him potentially starting in this game. So I like Asur. He's a freak athlete. We know that already. Him and his brother. His steals plus blocks jump out to me. It's super juiced at minus 155. I think the odds get worse. But you can see that Asur, is going up and over this line, 6 of his last 10 games. And if you look at just his last 5 games, I want to say he's been getting more minutes. So last 5 games, he's averaging 23 minutes, but you can see they've steadily inclined every single game with him going, getting 30 minutes in the last game. So if you filter this to the full season, this is what I did. I filtered to the full season, and I think I looked at 20. So he's averaging just 19 minutes. But if you think that he's going to play more minutes because Tobias Harris is out, then that's why the odds are so high. So if you move this up to about 25 minutes, you can see that he's played 4 games. He's going up and over the 1.5 steals plus blocks. Maybe it's something you add in the parlay piece. I'm not too big on drinking juice at 155, minus 155. But yeah, I do think that he has a really, really big game. Maybe you even take 2.5. I think he's going to have a big game here. So that's one thing I was looking at this morning as well. Asur Thompson, steals plus blocks up and over the number of 1.5 in this game here. Real quick, let's see if people got thoughts. What's up, Manny? Since top of the morning to the chat, Cooper flag points, rebounds, and assists on Saturday. Glad you cashed that. Good morning, Merrill. What's up, bro? He says he likes Garland over 27.5 points and assists. I could not talk you off of that one at all. Garland, I think he's coming off a 39-point game. Brian likes the Knicks, likes the Rockets, likes the Hornets. I actually no strong thoughts on the Knicks game, but I couldn't talk you off. I like those looks. Definitely 2 of them. Natalie says she played Pistons plus 10.5 and Cade up and over his points, rebounds, and assists. Cade has been going crazy. Couldn't talk anybody else from Cade. Good morning, Fear Elite. Gonna look at the Cavs team total over, Justin says. What up, Burns? Burns been in the Discord cashing. What up, Burns? Good morning, Jose. Jay Mendes, that's a fact. They get going, man. Let's see. Will says Darius Garland had a birthday yesterday for all the narrative cappers. JB Bickerstaff is also their former coach. That's a fact. Forgot about that. JB Bickerstaff also was thrown out of that game the other day against the Orlando Magic as well. So just some things to kind of think about, take it to your handicap. Pitcher plays, good morning to you. Let's keep it moving. Next game up, we got the Memphis Grizzlies in the New York Knickerbockers. Game will be played at MSG today. This line did open with the New York Knicks laying 4 points. They have now come down to a 3.5-point favorite, and it's kind of just sitting there. So situationally in this game, and the total has moved up too from 240 up to 242. Now it's coming back down to 241.5. We talked about this last night in the Discord. So real quick, situationally here, we got a not an Orlando team. We got a Memphis team that's 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games and against the spread. They've won 6 straight. They're off until Thursday when they host the Houston Rockets. So they do have some time to kind of, relax, chill, kind of hang out. Situationally, I don't really like this spot as much for the Knicks, though. You got a Knicks team that is coming off 3 straight wins as well. They beat the brakes off Sacramento the other day. We talked about live cap that team total over 118.5. It cashed pretty easily. They scored 143 points in that game, won the game by 23 points, and they got a game still at the crib. New York has not left New York in quite a while. They don't have to leave. They got Denver coming up, and then they'll still be home after that game as well. So I'm looking at the spot. The thing that jumped out to me a little bit the most is that the Grizzlies have had a super easy schedule as of late. And then it's also not the greatest spot as far as rest. This is 3rd game in 4 nights. 4th game in 6 nights for the Memphis Grizzlies. This is a team that I really enjoy to watch and play. They're 31 and 15 straight up and against the spread in their last over the full season. But you look at their last few games, and they have been cupcakes. They beat the Jazz, they beat the Pelicans, they beat the Hornets, beat the Timberwolves by 2, beat the Spurs, and then they lost to the Rockets. So last 5 games, I don't think you can find an easier schedule. Jazz, Pelicans, Hornets, last 3, they scored 125 or more in all of those games. Defensively, they've been pretty bad, 120 or more in all of the Jazz only scored 103, but their defense has been pretty subpar recently as well. And like I said, strength of schedule wise, when I was looking into this last night, I put it in the Discord. They are the second easiest schedule over the last 5 games. Now, the Knicks also have been playing a super easy schedule. They're 27 in strength of schedule over the last 5 games. What I worry about here is the sustainability for the Memphis Grizzlies and how they've been able to score the basketball recently. The 3-point shots have been absolutely going in for the Memphis Grizzlies. On the full season, they're not the greatest 3-point shooting team. They don't even shoot that many threes. They are 8th, so I guess you could say that they shoot it pretty well. 8th overall for the full season, shooting about 39%. Last 5 games, though, they're shooting 40% from the 3-point line. They're 6th in above the break 3 frequency, 2nd in above the break 3 accuracy. I don't know how sustainable that is because that's been against, like I said, the second easiest schedule. Now, when we're talking about the Knicks, they're not a great 3-point defense. On the full season, they just kind of give it up. 28th in opponent 3-point accuracy, 28th last 5 games as well, and they're not guarding the 3-point line well at all. The more I looked into the game, the more I wanted to take the points with the Memphis Grizzlies. I just kind of worry about them. I don't know. Sometimes they can revert back to turning the ball over. Full season at 23rd in turnover rate, so they give it up a lot. The Knicks' last 5 games are second in forced turnovers, so that scares me a little bit. I do think Memphis is going to want to get out and push the pace in this game. They are 9th in transition frequency, 4th in points scored per 100 possessions. The Knicks been actually giving it up in transition as well. So initially, my first thought was over, and that's where I still want to go in this game. I think it's a game where both teams can kind of score on the other team. Memphis is going to want to look to get downhill, score a lot of points in the paint. The Knicks haven't been the greatest defense against that specifically. So I think over would be the play that I'm looking at. And then on the opposite side, to me, it feels like the Grizzlies don't really worry about playing too much defense. They just want to play offense. They just want to score the basketball. So it don't really feel like they care about playing a lot of defense. So I'll lean over here. There was a trend that I shared the other day as well. On Saturday, I'll bring it back up real quick just to show you guys. This. Go back to Give Me the Dog, and I think it was since the 2019 season. You look at these teams that have. So let's just go. Win percentage is greater than or equal to 55, and opponent win percentage is greater than or equal to 55 as well. This was active on the Bucks and the Clippers the other day. So both teams, 55% win percentage. One of them is at home, and then it's not a conference game. And it's been super profitable to the over. 21-8-1 to the over this season, 72.4%. This season, home games, non-conference, both teams have a 55% win percentage. You can see that it's active for Knicks and Rockets. It's also active. Celtics and Rockets, also active for Knicks and the Grizzlies. You can see the Clippers and Bucks right here also went up and over the total. It was also active on the Clippers and Rockets, and both of those ended up cashing. So super profitable trend this season. Say that when two good teams play each other, non-conference game, it's an up and over the total type spot. 52%. If you add in here, I think that is before the All-Star break. I think it gets even stronger because teams don't play defense before the break. Yeah, goes up to 56% over the last 5 years. So just something to take into consideration. I do think that this one could get up and over the total as the trend in kind of likes this number as well. It is a pretty high total though. So that's what kept me off. Over would be my recommendation here if I'm playing anything. And I can see both teams winning, could see both teams covering. So I'm going to stay off of this one and just stay on the side. Let's see what the thoughts are here on Memphis plus 3.5. I feel like Memphis is going to be a big public dog, and I can't talk anybody off because Memphis is balling right now. Fly Daddy says, good morning, bro. First time watching. Let's get money. Appreciate you, bro. Fly Dad. TC Bet says, good morning, Chris. In chat, I got fourth quarter total under 55.5 for the Pistons cap. That makes a ton of sense for it to slow down for sure. Let's see. J-Man says over. Tamar still be going over. Random fact, Thompson twins share the same middle name. Pronounced excellence. I did not know that, Fresh. That's pretty cool. LJ says Memphis over versus the East is the play. Glenn says under full game for Cleveland. I can't stomach too many more unders, man. but I understand. Mark likes Memphis. He said small play on the money line as well. Morant at the Garden should be good money. Ron says Memphis on the money line as well. Merrill says Ja Morant gets his assists. Blaze says I'm going to watch that one. Both teams are in good form. I agree with that, and that's enough to keep me on the sideline. Elsie's World says take job points over. I take Stars points, guard points over when they go to the Garden. Couldn't talk you off of that. Also, I forgot to mention this, and it probably doesn't matter honestly. But Josh Hart is on the injury report. He is listed as questionable. I think it's a neck. Yes, it's a knee. My fault. I said neck. It's a knee for him. Santi Aldama and LaRavia are both listed as game time decision as well on the Memphis side. What up? Justin says he likes the Grizzlies to get to 121. PZ says Luke Kennard over his 1.5 threes. Hit 12 of the last 15. If Santi Aldama and LaRavia don't go. It's absolutely a spot for him to get busy today. Could not talk you off of that. Grizz 9-1 to the over on the road. 8-10-2 against last 10. I'm sorry, averaging 124. So yeah, it looks like people liking the Grizz. I do got the same trend. Memphis 10-2 to the over as road dogs this season. You can find that over on Outliers. Over on MoneyBaller as well. So there's some over trends. I'll lean over. Probably end up staying on for this one though. Maybe I'll jump in live if the total is low. All right, next one up, we got Rockets and Celtics. Rockets and Celtics. Let's see. Yeah, Rockets and Celtics. I kind of want to take the Rockets here. I want to see where the line goes. It hasn't moved at all. Open 6.5, still sitting at 6.5. The total slight tick up from 221.5 to 222. Man, the Rockets are a team, in my opinion, that's always going to play hard. And for that reason, I kind of want to catch them if they're taking points. I talked about this game a little bit, I think, last night in the video, and my thoughts haven't changed at all. Cam Whitmore, game time decision. Jabari Smith Jr. out. Al Horford and Derek White both listed as questionable in this game. So Boston has owned the Houston Rockets. They won 3 straight matchups. They beat them earlier this season, 109-86 as a 4-point road favorite. That game did stay under the 221.5 total. Houston coming off back-to-back wins against Cleveland, second of a 4-game road trip. They're 8-2 straight up in their last 10 games, 6-3-1 against the spread, 7-2-1 to the over. Boston first game back home after a 5-game Western Conference road trip. They beat Dallas by 15 as a 9-point favorite on Saturday after losing outright to the Lakers and getting embarrassed on national TV. And they got a game against Chicago on Wednesday at the Garden as well. I'm looking at Boston. I say this all the time. After a win, I typically don't want them. They're just 3-7 against the spread when they're traveling. I also don't want them if they're traveling from road to home either. They're 3-7 against the spread, only a +2 in point differential. If they won the last game, they're also just 1-6 against the spread, including 0-6 against the spread when they're traveling from road. If they're coming off a road win and they come home, I think the last time they were coming off the road and came home, they lost outright to the Sacramento Kings. I want to say that was the last game. They're also just 8-15 against the spread laying points. So you could say, Boston take their foot off the gas. You could say that they don't want to be consistent right now. Whatever it is, they just don't cover at home, traveling from home to road, from road to home. Coming off a win. And I think I put it in the Discord last night as well. There's something like, is it 2-12 when they're coming off a win of 15 points or more? So just a lack of consistency for the Boston Celtics. I'm interested to see if we end up getting a 7. I really want to get there with Houston. This team, like I said, they play hard. Not Joe Mazzulla. What's the coach name? Can't think of his name right now. But their coach coming back, their former coach coming back to Boston as well. I think Houston can keep this game within the number, if not in the first half too. They're 6-3 against the spread as a road dog this season in the first half. And you got a Celtics team that's only 10-13 against the spread in the first half as a home favorite. So maybe the Rockets keep it close early. Boston turns it on late. I kind of lean towards Houston first half plus the points. The best number you can get right now, far as first half, is 3.5 for Houston. So Houston first half plus the 3.5 is something that will be added on my short list as well. That's something that I'm interested in. I think Houston can keep it close early. So we'll go Houston first half plus 3.5. Just really a fade of the Boston Celtics and a buy on a team that plays really, really hard versus a team that we know doesn't play really, really hard all the time. I just think Houston, if they can make their shots, they have a chance in this one. And those are really just quick thoughts on that one. Those are the thoughts for me. LJ says, we know how Boston play. They don't cover after a win, but they cover after a loss. Rockets +7 is the play. Plus Boston team total goes under when the first game at home after multiple road games. So, this one's conflicting. I know Joe was talking about under as well, and I couldn't talk you off the under. I just think it's a spot that I won't be on the over on, just because I worry about Boston being able to score the basketball at times. And the Rockets they're a feisty team. They're going to go down there. They're going to try to dominate the boards. They're going to try to, muck the game up as much as possible. Boston plays really, really slow. Typically, they dictate pace at home. So I stayed off the total. I had a strong that trend I just shared with you guys. Two teams, 55% win percentage or better. It's strong to the over in this game. So I'm going to stay off the total. But I'm going to lean towards the Rockets first half and for the full game as well. Let's see. But the Boston team total under, Fly Dad says. Nah, this is what Joe said. He put it in the chat last night. Justin pulled the trigger. Rockets +6.5 for him. Marks likes first quarter. J-Man says Boston 1-5 at home against the spread versus the West. Houston 6-2 against the spread versus the East on the road. So strong trends to back Boston. To back Rockets and fade Boston here. I like it. Udoka. Ime Udoka is the name that I forgot. Appreciate you for your lead, Mark and Will. Nayeli says, I'm with you. She likes the Rockets first half. Also, +7. I don't think I see 7s, but good job to you guys for getting the early line. I actually see it moving down it's actually 6.5, just all the way across the board here. Ron G says he likes Boston 1-10 win margin. J-Man says, Chris, don't pass that Raptors game. Please, need to hear your thoughts. I'm all over Toronto. I don't really have too many thoughts, but we'll get into it. We'll get into it, J-Man. What up? I'm Saturated says I'm recovering from the flu. Sleep schedule is jacked up, but hey, look who I get to catch live for a chance. Let's cash some tickets. Cold hard cash, the best medicine. That's a fact, Saturated. Money will make you feel better for sure. I appreciate you, Saturated. Good morning, Andrew. Lynn says he likes Dylan Brooks for 10 points. Saturated says also that was definitely a first down. Why the refs always messing around? We won't talk about football right now. I need to recover from yesterday. Let's move over to the game. Who said they wanted to talk about this game? Somebody said they wanted to talk about it in the chat just now. I can't remember who comments I read. J-Man said it. Says, please talk about this Raptors and Pelicans game. I'll read you guys some numbers. I'm not really interested in this one. We'll start with the injury report, then I'll read off some numbers, and we'll keep it moving. I'll be pretty light here. I will say Toronto is kind of exceeding expectations for what I'm thinking. I did not think Toronto was going to win this many games in a row recently. I didn't think the defense would look this good. I didn't think that they would play this slow. I didn't even think that they were interested in winning this many games. And I always think about that, right? When you got a team that's, quote unquote tanking. The Toronto Raptors are 13-32. It's not like the New Orleans Pelicans out here trying to win games either. That's kind of keeps me off. Two teams that gonna be in the Cooper flag running here. 13-32 Toronto, New Orleans 12-34. We look at the injury report. It says that the New Orleans Pelicans have DeJounte Murray listed as game time decision. He did miss the game on Saturday. He's listed as questionable with a finger and elbow injury. And then I think they should get Zion back. No Brandon Ingram and no Herb Jones. On the Toronto Raptors side of things, Jakob Poeltl is on the injury report. I did write that down and put it in my notes. Interested to see if Jakob Poeltl plays in this game or not. I'm not sure if Jakob Poeltl is going to play. We'll see what happens with Jakob Poeltl. I think his injury designation is so quickly he's going to be out again. Jakob Poeltl injury destination was it illness? Back. So we'll see. Dealing with some back stiffness is what I'm seeing. That means a lot in my opinion. The Toronto Raptors are in much better form right now. We just put some numbers to it. Let's see. If we put some numbers to it real quick, Toronto is not a game that I'm running to the window to bet. I think I'm gonna leave this one off the card, but I know Toronto's in better form. So yeah, last 5 games, Toronto is third in opponent points allowed per 100% per game. They're 18th, so about middle of the pack in offensive efficiency. Second best defensive rated team last 5 games. 7th best in effective field in efficiency differential. They're playing it a little bit faster, 11th in pace, and they played the 10th strongest strength of schedule. You got a Pelicans team that absolutely got smoked against the Charlotte Hornets. I want to say it's not a really good travel spot here because the Pelicans have been playing a bunch of games and a bunch of nights. Let me just get to that real quick. Pelicans and Raptors. So the Pelicans, yeah, I'm right. So the Pelicans are third game in 4 nights. They did lose earlier to this Toronto Raptors team. I think I put that in my notes. Yeah, second matchup of the season. Toronto won the first one as a 1.5 point road dog. That game went under 221.5. Pelicans have covered 8 of their last 10 in the head-to-head matchup. So last of a 3-game road trip for the Pelicans here. Back-to-back losses. They failed to cover 3 in a row. Third game in 4 nights for them as well. All on the road. Toronto, back-to-back wins versus Atlanta. They've won 3 in a row, covered 3 in a row. They've won 5 of their last 6 and covered 5 of their last 6. So what I wrote in my notes was Toronto team total over based on the Pelicans opponents being 30, 15, and 1 to the over on their team total. We know that the Pelicans don't play defense. Whenever Charlotte is shooting 40% from the three-point line, I think Charlotte shot 42% from the three-point line in their last game. Not a great three-point shooting team. If Charlotte can do it, the Raptors can do it. It's how I feel about it. So I do think the Pelicans, the Raptors should be able to score here. Now the problem with that is the total is going up. But both of these teams playing super fast. We know the Pelicans don't play slow. They play super fast. So last 5 games, the Pelicans are 4th in pace. The Raptors last 5 games are 11th in pace. You need the Pelicans to get to, let's see. You need the Raptors to get to 115.5. I think that they should be able to get to 116. Last 5 games, they're averaging right at 114 on the nose. I think that they should be able to get to 116 in this game. And it is up to 116 on a couple books. This FanDuel got a 115.5 right now. So I guess that would be my recommendation. I'm not looking toward the Pelicans to play defense at all. Last 5 games, 27th rated defensive team. They can't really, stop anything in the paint. Let's see. Minnesota 27th in opponent points scored per 100 possessions, 25th in opponent rim percentage. They don't force turnovers. They're middle of the pack in opponent offensive rebounding rate. And they are not really guarding anything well. So I'd be looking at a Raptors team total over. They should win the game, but I'm not putting money on 2 teams that I don't think really are trying to win games, honestly. Somebody going to win, and the Raptors are a lot better ATS, 26-18-1. They're also better at home, 15-7-1. But I don't really want them as a favorite either. They're a favorite. They've been a home favorite 3 times. They're 1-2 against the spread as a home favorite. The Pelicans on the road, absolute fade spot, 7-15 against the spread. On the road, if they're a road dog, they're 6-11. So it says Toronto should win the game. It's just not one that I'm interested in, J-Man. I hope you cash whatever it is that you're playing. Not something that I will be on today, though. I think it's much better spots on the board. Rap Trends, J-Man says. Raptors fan says, Chris is a Raptors fan. I don't know what to think about my team anymore. Yeah. This is how I feel about the Raptors, man. Everything, those wins that they've been getting, ever since they beat Golden State 2 weeks ago, they've been, covering, been absolutely covering and winning. Burns says Pelicans are the right side, but I'm staying off of the game. Merrill likes Scotty up and over his rebounds and assists. Maybe it's a player prop game. I can see Scotty having a very big game in this game. Scotty's been cashing this. I don't even know what the hit rate is, but I've been looking at the box score. Scotty been going crazy. Merrill also likes Zion over his rebounds and assists. Hurdle is not out officially yet, but we'll see how that goes. GLB likes Toronto on the money line. Says a lot of systems active for them today. Need to review it. Toronto money line at over. Taylor says, wife and kids, let me sleep in. I'm late to the party. Good morning, Chris. Good morning, bro. Raptors said, Nayeli says she liked the Raptors on the money line. Raptors can lose close games. Can't lose close games, Brandon says. Early in the season, they failed me. I'm having visions of Zion going crazy. Yeah, he could get downhill and go crazy in this game. It's not one that I will be betting. I can probably guarantee you guys that. Hawks and Timberwolves. This is one we'll stay on for just a second. Not laying as many points with the Timberwolves. I'll start off by saying that I know I put in my notes last night. So real quick, let's not skip the injury report. So Atlanta will be without Jalen Johnson. They will also be without Trae Young. This line moved from 7, I think it was 6.5, 7 to 10 to 9, and now it's up to 10 with the news that Trae Young is not going to play. So the Atlanta Hawks have actually gone up and over the total without Trae Young. I think all 3 games that he's missed so far. That scared me off taking the under here because I do think it's an underplay. I would also be looking at Atlanta Hawks team total under. I think the total was 104.5. I think that they're going to struggle to score. The Minnesota Timberwolves have been a home favorite of 10 points, a double-digit home favorite, I think 3 times. The opponents have been really, really good. I'll bring this up real quick. I mean, they have been really, really good against their opponents. So I'll share this with you guys just really quickly because this is how I was kind of thinking about this game. The Timberwolves in general, though, are what are the Timberwolves real quick? The Timberwolves are 4-14 against the spread, coming off a win as a favorite of 15 points or more. No, I'm sorry. They're 5-2 straight up and against the spread this season, coming off a win of 15 points or more when they were a dog in their previous game. So they have followed up success with success. Here's why I can't quite get there with the Timberwolves. So real quick, we'll just look at the Timberwolves. And let's just say they're a home favorite. They're laying double digits, which they are doing in this spot. 3-0 straight up, 2-1 against the spread. They did beat the Raptors, didn't cover. They were laying 15. They did beat the Hornets by 21, and they beat the Blazers by 25. The thing I was looking at is here, DPA right here, where you guys can look here. It says Delta points allowed. This is the opponent team total. You can see that they've stayed under. Their opponents have stayed under their team total in all 3 games. They're allowing an average of 93 points in these games here. But if we just look at the Timberwolves as a home favorite, you can see that they've covered 4 of their 14 games, 4 of their 18 games. So 22%, I couldn't quite get there. You can also see that they failed to cover 6 straight in this spot as well. Last time that they won as a home favorite was back on December the 13th, before Christmas. They beat the Lakers. They beat them by, what did they beat them by? Or they beat them by 10. They were laying 8.5. So they just play around with their food. I don't like the Timberwolves as a favorite. I'd much rather have them as a dog. Those are just my quick thoughts on this game, how I'm kind of looking at it. Not laying that many points, lean, I guess, towards an Atlanta team total to go under, but I don't have that in my pocket. Just my thought process on the game. Onyeka Okongwu, somebody put that in the chat. I think his numbers are probably going to be something that's interested in this one. But it's not a game that I just can't trust Minnesota. Like them more as a dog here than them being a favorite. Wolves spot, Jamel says, can't back the Hawks without Trae and Jalen Johnson. That's what I wrote in my notes initially. I wrote Atlanta as a no bet without Jalen Johnson. And I still kind of agree with it. I just can't lay this many points with the Timberwolves. Backdoor could be open. LJ says Hawks are resting their players for the makeup game tomorrow versus the Rockets. Okay. Wolves, no Trae. Andrew says it could be that easy. It could be that easy. Just take the Wolves, no Trae Young. All right, next game up, we got the Bucks and the Jazz. Another game that I didn't really look too just actually one of the only games I didn't look too deeply into, and it's because of the injury report, man. I'm actually getting tired of Will Hardy and what the Utah Jazz are doing with the injury report. You literally, this game starts at 9:00, so you probably want to check around 8:30 Eastern Standard Time to see who's going to be playing in the game. The Bucks do have Chris Middleton listed as game time decision. I think he's going to play more probable. Bobby Portis is out. But the Utah Jazz continuously do this thing, man. Lauri Markkanen listed as – no, Lauri Markkanen is actually in. John Collins, game time decision. Walker Kessler, also questionable. And Jordan Clarkson actually been upgraded. He's missed the last handful of games. He could potentially play in this one. No Cody Williams. And Juzang continues to be out as well. This is the second matchup. Jackson talked about this game liking the under. And I do think the total is a little bit too high. I think the Jazz could struggle to score in this spot. The Bucks have been one of the better defensive teams, and they also coming off a big loss against the Clippers on Sunday. And you got a first game back home for the Jazz. I think they probably get steamrolled in this spot too, but I think the Jazz come out super flat. First game back home off a 4-game road trip. They've lost 5 in a row. They're still 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 though, and it's the first leg of a back-to-back for them. They got the Golden State Warriors tomorrow in Golden State. On the Bucks side of things, it's the second of a 4-game road trip. First leg of a back-to-back for them as well. They play Portland tomorrow. And like I said, coming off that 10-point loss as a 3.5-point dog, they'd actually won 5 straight, covered 5 straight before that. They're also 8-2 straight up in their last 10, 7-3 against the spread in their last 10. And their games have gone up and over, 8-2 to the over. And that's primarily because of their offense. So when I look at the way the Bucks have been scoring the basketball, it's typically getting downhill, but they can also shoot the 3-point shot as well. Two very different pace. You got a Bucks team that doesn't really push pace frequently, even though they have been playing a little bit faster recently, and the Jazz are playing a little bit faster too. For the full season, the Jazz don't play fast. They're about middle of the pack, 14th. Last 5 games, they're 6th in pace. And some of that's probably due to them playing Memphis and other fast-paced teams recently. They're 6th in pace last 5 games. The Bucks also 10th in pace last 5 games. I just think the Bucks should be able to go ahead and dominate. This Utah Jazz team is not a real defensive team. They just typically get mollywopped. They give up a bunch of points. And I do think that the Bucks, who, like I said, have won actually all their games by double digits, I think they get back right in this spot. Just not pulling the trigger because I want to see what happens with the injury report here. Bucks 3rd best offensive rated team last 5 games, number 1 in protecting the ball, number 1 in free throw rate. The Jazz foul at the highest rate last 5 games. Let's see strength of schedule stuff real quick. The Bucks 22nd in strength of schedule last 5 games. The Jazz 11th in strength of schedule. The Jazz did, like I said, they typically do cover. They covered against they covered a couple games before getting smoked by the Memphis Grizzlies in their last one. I don't know. I don't see a way that the Jazz are going to be able to slow down Giannis. He's probably going to get downhill. Probably his assist probably goes up and over. So yeah, I think the Bucks get back right in this spot. I think the total's a tad bit too high. I'm not sure if they even need to score 123 or 124. It looks like it's their team total. I think they can hold the Jazz under 114. So conflicting stuff here, but I guess if I had to play it, I'd be looking towards the Jazz team total under 114. 113 and a half, it looks like it's the best number. J-Man says he got Jazz +9. Looking like an under on Walker Kessler, as long as we cash is whatever. So Christian looking to play under. Bucks are pass for Andrew. Let's see. Jazz so trash. Bucks should have no issues. I agree with that. Niley says Jazz money line if Clarkson plays and Collins plays. And yeah, I could. Niley, we be on the right side. We be on the same side. I absolutely don't agree with that. Not with the Bucks coming off their loss, man. The Bucks have been playing some really good basketball. I don't think they're gonna drop 2 back-to-back. Not to the Utah Jazz, but that's just my thought process. And let's see. Do we have another one on here for today? Or is that the last one? Oh, the last one is actually the Phoenix Suns and the Los Angeles Clippers. I'll be super quick here. So injury report, Ryan Dunn is listed as out. He did only play 2 minutes in the last game before he got hurt. But outside of that, the Phoenix Suns should be pretty healthy. Chris Dunn is also out for the Clippers on the Clippers side of things. And as easy as this game may seem like to take, the Clippers -1, it feels very easy to take the Clippers. I feel like they're playing so much better than the Suns. The Clippers are not the same team on the road as they are at home. That's the first thing that stands out to me. And I think that's why that's why this line hasn't moved a lot. I feel like it's super easy to take the Clippers in this spot. It's not necessarily the greatest spot though, because you got a Suns team that's actually matched up really, really well against them. Now, granted, Kawhi didn't play in those games, but this is the 3rd matchup of the season. Phoenix, for whatever reason, have matched up really, really good against the Clippers. They won both of the games earlier, one in LA, one in Phoenix. Both totals did go up and over, and the totals in the last 10 games between these two teams are 8-2 to the over as well. Here's why I don't like the Clippers as much. It's a terrible spot for them. Remember, they had to make up that game for the Wildfires, and that put them in a 4th game and 5th night spot, which is super rare. So this is 6 game and 9 nights for them. First game on the road after 5 straight home games. They have been hooping 6-2 straight up, 7-1 against the spread. First leg of a back-to-back as well. They got the Spurs tomorrow. I think that game is in San Antonio. I could be wrong. And then on the Phoenix side, they have been at the crib. This 2nd straight home game for them. They come off an easy win against the Washington Wizards. They beat Brooklyn before ending that road trip as well. They're just 3-6-1 against the spread in their last 10 games after not covering against the Washington Wizards in their last game. They also, on the first leg of a back-to-back, they got the Minnesota Timberwolves coming to town tomorrow. And I forgot to mention that with Minnesota as well against Atlanta. So another reason why I don't really want to lay the points with the Minnesota Timberwolves, with them potentially looking ahead to this game for against Phoenix tomorrow. So I know, like I said, I know it looks super easy. The Clippers are in better form, in my opinion. Nick Richards had a really big game against the Wizards. I don't think he's necessarily going to have that big of a game against the Clippers. But the Clippers, you know, we always talk about it. A lot of their wins come at home. On the road, they're not the same team. And just to put some numbers to that real quick, Kawhi's still on a minutes restriction as well. Not that they aren't going to fight hard and play hard, but Kawhi's still on a minutes restriction also. The Clippers are on the road. They're 11-9 against the spread, but at home, they're 12-3 against the spread. Well, at home, they're actually 18-7 against the spread. So yeah, that means what? They have 8 wins on the road and how many losses? 12. So that holds me up a little bit. Suns need wins more than the Clippers do because they're behind them in the win column. At home as a dog, they have been a dog 4 times. They're 4-4 against the spread, it looks like. The Clippers, let's just look at their strength of schedule real quick. I probably won't play this game either. It does feel like a little bit of a toss-up to me. I still want to lean Clippers. I just don't like that it's 6 games in 9 nights. I do not like that. And first leg of back-to-back. So they're in a major fatigue spot tomorrow as well. That'll be 7 games in 10 nights, which is super rare in the NBA these days. Let's see. Phoenix. So, all right, here we go. All right, so Clippers have played the 3rd easiest strength of schedule over the last 5 games. They are 6th in defensive efficiency last 5 games, 16th in pace, 23rd in offensive efficiency. The Phoenix Suns have played the easiest strength of schedule. So nobody has played the easiest schedule than the Phoenix Suns. They did just beat Brooklyn and Washington. That makes sense. Got smoked when they played somebody tough like the Cleveland Cavaliers last Sunday. I remember that, lost some money. And they are 10th in offensive efficiency, 11th in defensive efficiency, playing at the 17th slowest pace as well. So just some thoughts, man. I don't really like that one as much. Don't really like this game as much. I think everything's pretty appropriate. Do think the Clippers are the better team. I just don't know if I can lay given the situational spot here. Do think the Clippers are the better team though. Let's see. This is a rivalry game. These teams don't like each other, LJ says. Taylor likes Norm Powell back to his threes, but it's juiced at -142. Couldn't talk you off. Fresh says line looks fishy. Give me the Clippers. Suns double result for +575. Marks like the Clippers on the money line. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Dame coming off back-to-back triple doubles will look closer at his rebounds, Vaughn says. Suns on the money line for Marquise. Clippers looking better with Kawhi back, but I'm still laying off this one. Should be fun to watch. And I'm right there with you, Jamal. They have looked really, really good. I keep referencing their defensive rating with Kawhi on the floor. Man, are they playing really good defense right now. The Clippers, the Bucks kind of scored. You know, they did score in their last game. But if I look at the Clippers just really quickly with Kawhi on the floor, their defensive rating is a 109. I'm sorry. With him on the floor, their defensive rating is a 100. They're plus 25 in that rating with Kawhi Leonard on the floor. The problem is he's gonna play limited minutes. He might play more minutes tonight and sit out tomorrow too, because like I said, they do got the San Antonio Spurs tomorrow. So just some things to kind of think about. Their defensive rating with Kawhi off the floor is a 109. With him on the floor, 100 though. So they have been playing really good defense with Kawhi back in the rotation. I don't like that Chris Dunn is not there. Chris Dunn is really good, probably a top 5 on-ball defender in the NBA. So you don't have him to slow down a guy like Devin Booker or Tyus Jones. Phoenix probably gonna try to score the basketball, and they've been able to do so earlier. Ron says he's gonna fade the clip. Suns are playing better. I'm watching for sure. Yeah, Suns are playing better, but they're playing cupcakes, brother Stitch. But I'm right there with you though. It's a game I'll stay on the sideline for as well. Just sharing my notes and my thoughts and my opinions. So the 4 plays that I made last night, and like I said, I'm not going over every single game in this video. I'm still on here for a whole nother hour. But there's a video yesterday that I made last night that's about 30 minutes, a little over 30 minutes. I took the plays that are in green, and I didn't go over those games today. I think some of those lines have moved in my favor, which, I mean, who even knows what that means nowadays? Hopefully it means something good, and we end up cashing them. But I did take Denver last night -7.5. Actually, probably my favorite play on the board. Daniel Gafford up and over his 15.5 points is widely still available. My favorite player prop. Orlando, I will be on them today versus Miami. That line's kind of all over the place. I see Miami laying 1. I see Orlando laying 1.5. So it really just depends. Total hasn't really moved a lot. And then Sacramento, Brooklyn, just going to stick with the under in that game. And the total's actually moving against me. It's up to 222.5. But I talked about that one in detail last night and why I like that. Based on what we talked about today, that Detroit-Cleveland over first half is something that probably realistically makes my card. Houston first half plus the 3.5. And a look towards the Sir Thompson over his rebound, over his steals plus blocks. May even take it at 2.5 versus the 1.5 so I can get plus money. But I think that that's a really good parlay piece as well. And that's where I'll kind of leave it at for today. I do lean Charlotte plus the points. Just want to make sure LaMelo gets ruled in and Miles Bridges get ruled in. Because the way the Charlotte Hornets manipulate the injury report can be crazy at times. And I think that's it for as far as what I'm liking today. A lean towards Atlanta team total to stay under 104.5. I think it's dropping down to 103.5. I do agree with that coming down. And yeah, that's it for myself, man. Big slate today. A lot of ways to get paid. Hope you guys found the show helpful. Resources, I went through all of these. jaXon likes the under between the Bucks and the Jazz, coming off a 1-0 day yesterday for jaXon. So we'll see if that continues. But yeah, check the resources out. Their referral links that'll save you some coin on all of them in the description. Best of luck on all your action today, man. And I will catch you guys at 4 p.m. I will be on with Kyle on his channel. And all of these big slates like this, I just want to add this, all these big slates like this, I'll probably end up making night videos as well, trying to get ahead of some of these lines, especially if the injury report isn't too manipulated, man. Best of luck on all your action. Y'all enjoy your Monday, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm out.